You and Dandy had been dating for several years. You were really close with him, seeing as you were his assistant tune handler, or in other terms, his tune handler's assistant. You had often just spent the whole day hanging out with Dandy. One day, he notices that you came in wearing a mask. So when he comes up to you, he curiously asks, "Hey, listener, babe, are you okay? What's with the mask?" And then you say in a nervous voice, "Well, you see, I have a cold, but I couldn't call in. Too many people are already out sick." Then he sighs and says, "Okay, well, I can take care of you for the day. Okay, hun?" You blush slightly and say, No, there's no need for that. Plus, I'm supposed to be kind of like your tune handler, so I'm supposed to take care of you." Then he looks at you, clearly a bit annoyed. Then he says, "Babe, we've been dating for what, 2, 3 years now? You don't need to worry about that. I can take care of you. Don't you worry." And you just hug him. And since you were wearing a mask, you didn't really have to worry about him getting sick. Especially since tunes can't really get human illnesses. And he chuckles and says, "Come on, babe. Let's go to my room. You know it's safe in there." Then he just grabs your hand and leads you to his room. After a while, you two are just in his room, cuddling, while watching some of the old tapes. And then he calmly says, "So, hun, how did you get sick?" And you nervously say, "I'm not actually sure. Might have been a family gathering, might have been just going for a walk, might have been anything, really. Might have been one of the kids we worked with. It might have even just been from breathing in something that had the sickness." Then Dandy chuckles and says, Well, I'll take care of you until you feel better, babe." And then you say, "Dandy, honey, you really don't have to. I can care for myself, you know that." And then he says, "Babe, I don't care. We have been dating for way too long for it to just be you caring for me. I need to care for you too." After a while, and he was kind of forcing you to eat some soup because he had heard from Cosmo and Sprout that it helps humans' immune systems to work faster with healing. He could tell you weren't a big fan of doing so, so occasionally he would just take some into his mouth and kiss you, since he didn't have to worry about getting sick, because, well, you can't get human viruses. After a while, he had noticed that you were just being overly cuddly. Then he curiously asks, is you being cuddly because of you being sick or because of something else? And you say, well, I'm more tired since I'm sick, so I think it's that. Then he chuckles and says, well then, how about we go to bed, okay? And you nervously say, but I have work to do. And he says, dear, your work is caring for me. And if we're both sleeping and we're both together, technically you're still doing your job. Then you chuckle and say, I guess so. Then Dandy just picks you up and gently kisses you again. Then he calmly says, I love you, darling. And then you chuckle and say, I love you too. Then he lays you down on his bed and just cuddles with you. And you both fall asleep while cuddling.